It's time to tie up your hair, pet your familiar, and get ready to cook, because today we're going to be making sweet rolls from Skyrim. Now, many different people have tried to make these rolls several times on the internet. The issue is that a lot of different people played Skyrim, and so there are just so many different versions that exist out there. And everyone had a different thought about how they would have tasted. Personally, I imagine them being light, fluffy, yeasted rolls with some sort of like cream cheese frosting on top, so that's what we're going to be making today. I either think they're meant to be a less flavorful style of cinnamon roll or just some sort of like barely sweet bread. The name sweet roll also implies that it is made from a dough, not a batter, so I think the result will be closer to what appears in game. We are going to be making an enriched dough here, which essentially means we're going to be making a dough that includes butter and sugar. You can also take this recipe and halve the sugar content and get a really good dinner style roll. Let's get to baking. To begin, we are going to be making a sort of milky roux to add to the dough to ensure that these stick together and stay buttery, as well as setting out our stick of butter for later so it's room temp when we need it. For this roux, simply add in a 1/4 cup of milk, 2 tablespoons of water, and 2 tablespoons of flour together in a saucepan and cook them down until it's thick. We can now just set that aside and tackle the base of the dough. For this, we're going to take 1/2 cup of water and mix it with 1/2 cup of milk, and then heat it until it's slightly above room temperature. We're then going to add in 2.5 tablespoons of yeast, 2 egg yolks, and then 1 whole egg. The egg yolks add in a little bit of extra fattiness to the end product without adding in too much liquid to the dough. We're then going to go over to our stand mixer and add in 4 cups of flour, a 1/2 cup of sugar, and 2 teaspoons of salt. We're going to whisk that together until it's well dispersed. Then we're going to slowly add in the roux and the yeast mixture. When the mixture is smooth, we are then going to add in our room temp butter in a bit at a time, making sure each bit is fully incorporated before adding in the next. Next, we need to roll out the dough into a large ball on a lightly floured surface and then let it rest. We're just going to grab a mixing bowl, grease it down, and let it rise in here with a towel over it until it's double in size. This part is going to depend a lot on your house temp and the humidity. For me, this took about 1 hour. After it's napped, we're going to need to punch it down so it doesn't overproof, and then divide it into even pieces. In this case, the pan I need has enough room for 6 sweet rolls, so I'm going to divide out at least 12 pieces. Overproofing is when your dough is allowed to rise for too long, and essentially what happens is that your dough expands out and then deflates back down. It will only affect the texture, not the taste, but since we want these to be light and fluffy, we have to avoid that at all costs. We also want to avoid underproofing, which makes the rolls dense, so we'll need to let it rest again for another 20 minutes at least. When rolling out and dividing the dough, it's important to cut the dough with a knife or bench scraper and not pull it, as that could destroy the gluten structure. We're then going to preheat the oven to 375 degrees Fahrenheit and bake these for about 20 minutes. For me, these took closer to 30 just because of how big these bun pans were. Since we're going to be inverting these, and the tops of these will actually be the bottoms, we don't need to worry about using an egg wash or anything like that. If you'd like to bake these like regular rolls though, I'd recommend using an egg wash, which is 1 egg plus 1 tablespoon of water. A tester inserted into the dough should come out clean, and that will help you determine if they're done or not. Now that they're done baking, we're going to let them cool in the pan for a few minutes and then pop them out onto a serving tray while we tackle the topping. For the cream cheese topping, we just need to mix in 4 ounces of cream cheese, 2 tablespoons of unsalted butter, 2/3 cup of powdered sugar, and 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract in together until the desired consistency is reached. You may need to add in a little bit of milk into the mix until it's partially drizzleable without it being too runny. Next, we just need to decorate. You essentially want something that very slowly runs down the plate to get that signature Skyrim look. If it doesn't end up looking like someone would steal it from you, you're going to want to try again, either making your frosting thinner with milk or thicker with more cream cheese. Now, these turned out exactly how I wanted them to. They were very light and fluffy, but I loved the cream cheese topping on them. They almost tasted like a cinnamon roll without the cinnamon. They're very soft, very squishy. I just wanted it to start snowing outside and start listening to Secunda. I recommend making these even if you're not a huge Skyrim fan, as they were just great. Now, if you want to continue learning how to cook from fantasy, make sure you like this video and subscribe so you don't miss another video. Thanks to you for watching.